Welcome to our few minutes together on the Parsha. This week's Parsha is a very difficult one in terms of taking out a positive message because it deals with the rebellion of Korach. And as the Mishnah in Pirkei Avos points out, it was a machlokes shelo l'shem shamayim, and the example that when they give a machlokes shelo l'shem shamayim, the machlokes that's for the sake of heaven is the machlokes of Hillel and Shammai, while the machlokes shelo l'shem shamayim, a machlokes that wasn't for the sake of heaven, was Korach va'adoso, Korach and his congregation. It's interesting. It doesn't say the machlokes between Korach and Moshe and Aaron. It says Korach va'adoso, which means that there was even a machlokes within Korach and his congregation. In fact, it's rather tragic when you think about it. According to Rashi, Korach was going to be the only one who thought he would survive, because Aaron was the Kohen and only one who brought the Ketores out of the 250 that brought them was going to live. And Korach and his sons were the ones who were the bringers of the Ketores. And only one was going to survive. And that means Korach understood that he was thinking he was going to survive, which meant that he knew that his own children would not. And he thought he would survive because Shmuel HaNavi was going to come from the family of Korach. But the fact remains that it was indeed from his children and not from him. So the terrible, terrible tragedy of the machlokes is that when Korach went and fought this machlokes, it was with everyone else in his Eidah, because only he was intending to survive and nobody else. Be that as it may, in order to stop any further complaints about who was to be Kohen, the Torah tells us after this event that Hashem told Moshe to tell every shevet to take a stick and to put it in the middle of the Ohel Moed, under the curtains where there was no sun, and Aaron's staff should be in the middle of all the staffs of the 12 tribes. And the next morning they came in, and the pasuk says, "Vayihimi macharos." It was the next day. Vayovei Moshe el Ohel Edus, and Moshe came to this tent of testimony. V'hinei porach mate Aaron leveis Levi, and behold, the stick of Aaron from the house of Levi sprouted out. Vayotze perach, and it brought forth a blossom. Vayotze tzitz, and a bud shone out. Vayigmol shkedim, and almonds came. These were the three steps: the blossom, the bud, and the almonds. Of course, the almonds are there because they are quick. That's why they are called shkedim, because they are the first fruit of the year. Interestingly enough, when Aaron's stick was placed next to the Aron, when the Aron was hidden, the Gemara in Yuma on Nun Beis says that when the Aron was hidden, the staff of Aaron was hidden, ushkeideha upracheha. It was hidden with its almonds and its flowers. So what happened here is that Aaron's staff had three stages, as the stage of an almond tree is. First there's a blossom, then there's a bud, and after the bud comes the almonds. But Aaron's stick maintained all three. Even after the almonds came out, the flower remained, the bud remained, and the almonds remained. This is to teach us a beautiful and powerful lesson. The Kohanim had to be the type that were always going to produce wonderful fruits, and they had to do it with alacrity and quickness. But they were never to forget that even though they possessed almonds, ripe fruit, that they also had to remain in the flower and bud stage. They always had to think of themselves as being new and fresh and about to give out with even more buds and even more flowers, because that's what a Jew is supposed to be. We go through life, and what we do is we try to produce beautiful, beautiful fruit. But even when we produce the finest fruits, we can't relax and lay back, because we still have to have the flowers and the buds. We still have to be youthful in our zeal to do that which is correct. We still have to not ever rely only on our past, but constantly look to sprouting out to the future. And Aaron was the paradigm of that. His stick contained flowers, blossoms, which gave birth to buds, which gave birth to almonds, and they all remained on the staff. Just as we should take the lesson and have fruits, have buds, have flowers, and always remain in a stage of constantly producing more and more in our lives. What a beautiful idea is being given to us from this Parsha of Korach, that we can constantly blossom out, and we bless Klal Yisrael, that we should hear Besurot Tovot, good news about the 3 boys, good news about those beautiful fruits that the family produced and that we hope will continue to blossom and will continue to maintain its flowers. Hashem should bless us. We should hear wonderful news speedily in our time, so that the lesson of the staff with the flowers and the buds comes true from Hey Rav Yameinu.